question, Councillor Bulgari. So in terms of the VAG rounds, it normally opens in February each year. So for the 24-25 financial year, we will still have, it's still proposed to have a VAG round open in February 2025. This motion proposes an additional round, if you like, a Christmas-focused round that would happen earlier. So people who would normally apply for a VAG grant will still be eligible to do that as part of the 2025 round. It's not proposing to remove that.
So it's the same lot of money that would be in the February one now just brought forward if you want to have if they missed out doing it previously. Yes. Yeah. So there's no increase in funding that's all of a sudden required?
No, I guess it depends, Councillor, on who applies essentially. So we still have one VAG allocation for the financial year. I guess this is just providing an additional opportunity to access those funds with a focus on Christmas.
And the difference in auspicing, can I ask what that was, please?
Sorry, Chair, I'm not sure in terms of the difference in, do you mind?
The rules.
Which?
It means they're relaxing the rules, so it doesn't have to be dead in a village and so forth. If you've got an event, you can bring it forward.
Oh, you mean location then, not auspicing?
Yes.
Well, yeah, the auspicing of is the rules around it. So it's relaxing the rules.
Sorry, Chair.
Auspicing is when you get somebody else to auspice the grant for the group because they're not incorporated or something. The conditions of the grant are the conditions of the...
Thank you. I believe the officer can articulate it.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. Through you to Councillor Bulgari, I understand now. So in terms of the locations, as Councillor Tolti has mentioned, in the current guidelines, there are 10 centres listed as to where applicants can be applying to hold their events in. This motion would propose to relax that for this particular round to allow applicants for events in any locations across the city to be eligible. Auspicing, as you say, is a different requirement that's around who's auspicing or holding the funds.
Sorry, I just have a question. So it's a relaxation for this year only to allow events?
Yeah, but we can review further.
Which picks up the Mount Cotton event specifically.
Mount Cotton event is already picked up in the VAG.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's for other things like perhaps on the Simbi Islands or in a park.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, my second part to the officer was the increase in funding to Mount Cotton by 12,000. Where is that coming from?
Through you, Chair. So my understanding from the motion is, so the Mount Cotton event already was successful in achieving a VAG grant of the maximum amount from the 23-24 round. So February 24 they applied for this particular 24 event. So that's already locked away and we're working with them on that. This motion proposes an additional $12,000 for that event and the source of that funding that's proposed is slightly different. That's from the I guess the allocation around Christmas as opposed to the VAG grants, if I've understood that correctly.
All right, thank you. Councillor Bishop, did you have any other questions? No. Sorry, Bulgari. Did you have any other questions?
Sorry, I'm just a bit confused as to where the 12,000's coming from.
So I believe, so
we made a saving at Christmas.
So as I understand it,
now we're using.
So as I understand it, we collectively voted to, the budget for Christmas was in place. We collectively articulated that we wanted to try and save money for this financial year. It's a trial, as I understand from events, to see how it works, to have that more decentralised approach to our Christmas festival across the city. There's been a saving as a result of that we're not putting a lot of money into that single event. And the intent is to use some of that saving to redirect to the Mount Cotton event due to the decrease in commercial sponsorship. So I gather the commercial sponsorship is down by 12 grand, and we're asking to top it up by 12 grand. Is that the case?
Up to 12 grand. So if I can, like any grant and any community event, it will have to be, what's the word when they, acquitted. So it's not just, they have to spend that amount and have receipts to show that amount. And if it's just saying up to that amount, then I'm not a committee member. The committee can come and talk to our teams and work out what that amount would be.
Yeah, so as I said, so you're saying that the commercial input, that's down by 12 grand and you're looking to replace it by 12 grand.
Yeah, and originally I was looking at VAG grants, so that goes in $12,000. That's where the 12 came from.
Okay.
But then in talking with officers, etc., and developing the motion, this is where we ended up at. So it's asking that we authorise the officers to go and give the event organisers up to a further $12,000, and in that process they will, they will tell us what they've got that they can claim, acquit.
Okay, yeah.
It has to be acquitted. It's not just, you can have this money and we don't need to know where you're going to spend it.
And we're doing that because of the lost sponsorship by a similar
Yeah,
amount.
so this particular year, and I think a lot of organisations are feeling a lump past COVID. We had a lot of, everything stopped and then everyone was trying to get back on their feet after COVID. And then with the interest rates, etc., business is really under pressure and it's difficult to get sponsorships at the moment.
Point of order. I'd just like to clarify if we're having questions or if we're going for and against, because I'm just a little confused. We're having some, I just want to know where we're at, because...
So yeah, we'd actually moved into questions, and so
First?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have a question too.
So if I go back, I've got names written down. I do have your name written down, Councillor Bishop. So
I was just, I know my Wellington Point traders in the same boat. They're about 5,000 down this year. They're not going to have any new decorations or anything. Have they got access to this money as well? Because I'm sure other councillors have also got groups that are struggling. I don't know where our savings will then happen, but I'm just wondering. I didn't think to ask for this. I told them to cut back myself.
I guess Councillor Boglari, Councillor Boglari, if I can just so I guess your question is if we change or a relaxation of the rules, would your centre be able to apply in the same way? And I would gather then that would be correct.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I guess there's probably two things that are being considered there. So in terms of an additional round, if you like, for VAG to be open early with a Christmas focus, then groups across all of the city would be eligible to apply within those guidelines. In terms of the motion around considering this specific event for Mount Cotton, that's a particular allocation you'd be considering today separately, using a different funding source through the savings from Christmas.
So I guess in consideration of that, I guess it is a precedent too then. If we're talking about this and this request in relation to the savings, then I guess we could all consider that that it's a precedent set for organisations in a similar situation. All right, so next on my list, Councillor Bishop.
A few questions, if I may, through the chair. First question, do we have a workshop coming back to us about community grants and including VAG?
Yeah, through you, Chair. So in terms of a follow-up from the previous council workshop that was held, that was reviewing the entire community grants program and sponsorship program, which included VAG. We've captured a lot of the feedback that was provided both at the workshop and feedback that we've received since. We're also currently in an audit process around our grants allocations. So we're likewise accumulating that feedback and we'll be coming back to councillors with some recommendations around that going forward. So yes, there will be another opportunity to consider where we go with more broadly with community grants in future.
So that sounds like council has a strategic process that we're looking at that integrates things that we've all collectively agreed or in process of agreeing, and that will come to us at a future date.
Correct. And councillors, at that time we indicated that that would inform the 25-26 grants program.
Yeah. To me, that's the logical sequence of strategic planning, and this seems to be a departure from that. So I just want to flag that as a concern. I do have some views about VAG. At no stage has Division 10 been eligible to put anything anywhere but in a car park, and that's just not a safe place. So I welcome the relaxation of those rules, but I think that should happen through a strategic process, not through a notice of motion. I think that's an appropriate way for that to occur. I am also concerned about the principle of suddenly a $200,000 available fund that we might have access to, subject to a notices of motion. How do we limit that going forward is a question to officers generally. If we attribute now
Point of order,
$12,000.
Madam Chair, there isn't any $200,000 fund being proposed here, and the council